welcome to the first episode, right? The first episode of Marvel Diaries.
Yes.
And I am Dr. Rowe, and
I am Joy.
yes, and we are two fancy Black women who nerd out on all things MCU when we're not on the clock, but sometimes when we are on the clock.
It's true.
Yes. And so what better way to kick off our video podcast by talking about none other than
Spider-Man.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Check out this.
Check out the merch.
That beautiful Perry from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Ro, you look
your
dope.
friendly neighborhood Spider.
That top is dope. That top
is
dope.
Sis, I was in the movie theater like I was on a red carpet. Okay, I had on stilettos, knee-high boots. I was just ready. I was ready because you can't go see Zendaya in a movie and not be fly.
And
you
not
just
be,
can't do that.
You just have to show up. Yeah,
she's a fly woman. So you
Shout
always
out.
have to shout out to the sister, right? But yes, and so the first thing that we're going to do is we're definitely going to have to give you guys a spoiler warning. Now, listen to me very carefully. If you want to see the movie and you do not want to be made aware of the content of the movie, please pause
right now.
Save this video, come back, because we are going to spoil your experience. And but we definitely want you to come back. So save the video, come back to it. But I'm telling you, spoiler alerts ahead. Okay.
So go ahead and subscribe now, and we will see you back after you watch the movie. But for the rest of us who've already seen it, let's keep it going. So today is Thursday, December 16th. Today is the day that Spider-Man No Way Home came out theaters nationwide. And so what's the story about? Spider-Man No Way Home is the third installment of the Tom Holland series of Spider-Man in the MCU. And it kicked off with, the reminder that Peter Parker has now been exposed as being the Spider-Man. He's been exposed to society, and they're split. They're split between who's going to support him and who's going to disdain them. Right now, at least in the US society, we understand what a split society looks like. So that's what's going on there. And Spider-Man, he can handle a lot of things. Peter can handle a lot of things. But what happened is, as a result of this, MIT rejected Peter, his girlfriend MJ, and his best friend Ned from being able to attend MIT in the fall. And Peter feels really down about that. He feels very responsible. And so he taps on his fellow Avenger, Dr. Strange, who he met, and we saw them meet in Infinity War. And he asked him for some help. And so Dr. Strange ultimately agrees to at least cast a spell that would erase everyone's memory that associates Peter Parker as the Spider-Man. So he's casting the spell, the magic is happening, and then Peter realizes, like, wait, I don't want everyone to forget me. Aunt May needs to remember me. MJ needs to remember me. Ned needs to remember me. But Peter is doing this in the midst of the spell being cast, and it disrupts the spell. And so at the conclusion of it, the multiverse is cracked open, and in comes villains and heroes of the Spider-Man universe. And so Peter and MJ and Ned and Dr. Strange have to work together to fix the mess that they created. And so
the multiverse mess.
The multiverse mess. And so we get old villains and old heroes. So with that, let's jump into how you felt walking out of the theater, Dr. Rowe. How was Spider-Man No Way Home for you?
You want me to be honest?
Be honest. This is the real deal.
Sister, friend, cousin. Soror. Listen, I'm gonna have to give the movie an 8. I'm gonna have
Eight
to
is
give the
good.
movie an 8.
8 is good. 8 is good, but I want to know why you docked it 2.
Okay, here is why I gave the movie an 8. Not because it was an 8, right? The writing was good, the directing was good, the CGI was fantastic, the fighting scenes were really good. Even the storyline I had a fond appreciation for. That wasn't why I gave it an 8. I will give it an 8 because of some of the disappointments that I had in the movie. And so before I get into, I guess, why I gave it an 8, let me just at least say some of the things I liked about the movie.
Let's hear.
So
Okay, so what
again,
did you like?
so let's start there. Let's start on a high note.
Start on a high note.
So again, spoiler warnings. So the first thing that I really liked, I like when you see this first, you remember in Spider-Man Homecoming when Iron Man saves Peter Parker on the boat is splitting, and Iron
Yes.
Man comes and Iron
Yes.
Man takes the suit from Peter Parker, and he
Mhm.
was like, you don't, if you this suit, you won't be Superman. I mean, not Superman, Lord, Spider-Man without the suit or something like that. But anyway, he takes away the suit, right?
Mhm.
And then he gives Peter Parker a shirt because Peter Parker says, "Well, Mr. Stark, I'm not going to have anything to wear." And then we cut to the next scene, and he has on his shirt says, "I survived my trip to New York." And so that's the shirt he wears home after Stark takes away the Spider-Man suit in the first movie. And if you notice in one of the opening scenes, after it's revealed and him and MJ go back to the apartment, he puts on that t-shirt and it says, "I survived my trip to New York."
That's when
So
she hears him. Yes.
right. And so I really like how it opened up with that connection with his beginning, how he
Mhm.
started off, how he had this conflict with really developing his Superman. I keep saying
I
Superman.
don't know. DC's gonna love it though.
Spider-Man. I can't stand DC anyway. But Spider-Man, how he's grappling with being a superhero. That's what I'm trying to say, being a superhero. And I really appreciate the connection again to his relationship, of course, with the beloved Tony Stark. So I
Yeah.
really like that. The second thing was I love the cameo by the Daredevil.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Matt
yes, yes.
Murdock showed up.
Yes, Matt Murdock. And listen, girl, he showed up in his cute little, fresh out of law school suit and his cane. And what I appreciate about his cameo is that it does give a hint to his superhuman abilities, right? And
Right.
so even Peter Parker is like, wait a minute.
He
So
caught
how
that
can you do
brick.
that? He's like, I'm a really good attorney. So I guess apparently being a really good attorney gives you superhuman ability. So I guess I'm gonna have to go to law school. Again, I love that JB Smooth was there. It was in the movie. Shout out to him. And Hannibal Buress, he was back
Yeah.
in. Remember, he was the coach,
Yep.
the gym teacher
Yep.
in the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I like how they webbed, pun intended, together like all of these characters from the other movies. And so I'm really appreciative of that. I did love the connection to the Marvel What If series. If you all have not had an opportunity, I definitely recommend subscribing to Disney Plus and looking at the What If series, specifically episode 4.
Talk about that some more. What was the connection there?
So this is what I think. So Peter Parker, obviously, he's trying to change a point in time,
Right.
right? And so we were introduced to that concept in the What If series when Doctor Strange, in that particular multiverse timeline, it was Christine who died, and then he's heartbroken by her death, and then that's how he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. So in that episode, we're told by then the Sorcerer Supreme that listen, it is an absolute point, capital A, capital P, in time, and that it must happen, and that you cannot change your fate. And so when I was watching the movie, when I was watching um, No Way Home, that's what came to mind, that Peter Parker is trying to change an absolute point in time, and some things just they have to happen.
They
And I
do.
think, yeah, and so I'm still not a fan of it. But I understand. And again, I appreciate that. And with that reference, and not only just to the What If series, right? But WandaVision, when we talk about the
Mhm.
post credits, we talk about that. There's obviously some major Easter eggs in terms of what we need to look forward to in phase 4. So that's really good. I'm really happy that that is the What If series is obviously a nexus, low key, pun intended,
Mhm.
point for Marvel Phase 4 and Spider-Man No Way Home. Unpack that. Excuse me. Another thing I appreciated as an educator, I love education.
Mhm.
I have a fond, my heart beats for public schooling, public education. And Peter Parker definitely went to a public school.
Yes, they did.
Smart,
Yep.
intelligent, smart as a whip. And I liked how they infused geometry.
Yeah, he said, I
When
know
he
geometry.
said, I know
Who
geometry.
says that?
And then he goes off and he gives us a formula, and he obviously he beats Doctor Strange at his own game, and I like that. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
Kids are adults upgrade. So I like how he had a one up on Doctor Strange just for a moment.
And so he and Doctor Strange were fighting because Doctor Strange is trying to undo what he did. And Peter's like, wait, pause. We have a chance to maybe correct some things before we put our villains
Right,
back.
right.
And Peter Parker is able to overtake Doctor Strange by using geometry. So shout out to STEM, Marvel incorporating STEM. We love it. We love to see it.
We love to see it. We love to see it. And so that's definitely a point that I had. Let's see. All right. Now, those are some of my highlights of the movie. And I think I did all right without giving away all of the movie.
All right. Well, let me share some of my
Yes.
highlights, some of the
Yes,
things that I
please.
love. So one thing I love about MCU is the interconnectivity of this universe and cameos and callbacks. And so what I absolutely love is the callback of the villains in this movie, not just from the Tom Holland series, but going all the way back to the beginning of Spider-Man with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And we had Doc Ock, we had Sandman, we had Electro, we had Green Goblin, and the Lizard all show up as villains when the multiverse was cracked open. They all showed up in the film. And it was just like, I got super excited seeing like in the beginning, like, how is this gonna play out? I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed how Jamie Foxx, who plays Electro, I loved his statement in the end, towards the end, when he was saying, gosh, he was talking to the Andrew version of Spider-Man, saying like, I thought you were going to be black. Like, I thought you were black. He's like, you from Queens, you wear this mask. I thought you were going to be black. And he's like, there's
Poor.
got to
Didn't
be.
he mention that he was poor or something like that?
He said,
poverty or something.
he said, there's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere out there. And
Shout
I love that.
Shout out to Miles Monroe. Not oh Lord, not Miles Monroe. Miles Morales.
Girl, because the late Pastor Miles Monroe, as far as I know, has no connection to the MCU. But who knows? The MCU is full of surprises. So who knows?
I know, we gotta rest in peace, Pastor.
But it was, you were talking about connections earlier, and it's a great way to see it connect to to Enter the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. And that's really where we saw the multiverse take shape in this in the
Right.
Spider-Man series. So that was really awesome.
Right.
I really liked the dialogue that happened between the Spider-Men. And so one thing we haven't talked about, which was a huge surprise that made the audience in my theater go wild, was the entrance of the two former Spider-Men.
Crowd went crazy.
Crazy.
First it was Daredevil, and then it was the Amazing Spider-Man character, and then the original Spider-Man. They went crazy. They
They
went crazy.
went berserk.
Yeah.
Yes. And I loved the dialogue between them when they were kind of like talking about their similarities and their experiences, realizing like they had such so many similar experiences. And Marvel was just really brilliant about that. Even how they pointed out the things that were obvious to us, like the discrepancy in their web shooter, and how the original
Like, where
Spider-Man
does it
could
come
do
from?
it. Yeah, like
It comes out your body, like
right. I was just like, we talk about it. We talk about it in the interwebs and amongst ourselves who are huge MCU fans. But to have Marvel point out the obvious was really cool. And I really enjoyed that dialogue. I just, Aunt May, like rest in peace. She's a G. And the way she even just grabbed up what needed to be grabbed so that Peter could continue, like Peter was telling her, Aunt May, run, and she took the time to grab up what they needed to help change the villains back to people, and even asked Peter to continue on with his mission when she was dying. And so I really just enjoyed like just Aunt May being a G in this. I love the friendship between um Ned and MJ and Peter continuing on. Peter was responsible for them not getting into MIT, and
right.
they didn't hold that against him. They were like, like that's
We're gonna
like
ride for you.
they're like ride or die for real.
Right. Those are real friends.
And so I like that. I like that, you expect this from superheroes, but here Peter wanted to sacrifice his outcome, his fate for his friends, for his loved ones. And so that was beautiful. And yeah, I just overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I left the theater wanting to tell everyone to go see it before the spoilers came out, particularly with the Spider-Man appearance,
Right.
because they've been getting asked, are you guys appearing
Are
in
you
the new
guys appearing?
Spider-Man? And they've tried to do such a great job to
To
keep
keep
it
it to
close to
keep the lid
chest.
to keep it close to their chest. And you know what I really appreciated, because even with some of those leaks and some of those suspicions, right? We assumed that it was just going to be mere cameos.
Yes.
We did not anticipate them being integral in, in the battle, so to speak. We
Yeah.
did not think that they were going to play a major role in the fight to get them back to their perspective universes. It was amazing.
Yeah.
They and what I loved is I loved how the director and the writers, they took the time to unpack the loneliness of being
Mm,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
So even if they're in separate, universes, that they, at least Peter now knows that that there's more of him out there.
Yeah.
And maybe that might be something to inspire him moving forward. And I love the brotherhood that was kind of
Yes.
created amongst them, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
how, and even they said, well, we're not used to working in teams. And our Peter Parker, MCU Peter Parker, is like, well, I'm an Avenger. And they're like, yo, is that a band?
The fact that they didn't know who the Avengers were was like so dope and so like appalling at the same
At the
time.
same time, can you imagine a world without the Avengers?
They don't know the blip. They don't know Thanos. They don't know Wakanda. Like they don't know any
Any of
anyway.
them.
any of that.
So I thought that. So I agree. Again, I love the movie. I'm definitely gonna go watch it again. It was just the reason why I gave the movie an 8 was uh one, Aunt May died.
Yeah.
I ain't like that.
Yeah.
I ain't like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then the second reason I did not like, I gave the movie an 8 because I did not like how the end at the end, in order to fix it and in order to stop more villains from entering that particular timeline, Dr. Strange had to recast the spell to make everyone forget that it was Peter Parker. So that way villains can stay away.
Yeah.
Because the implications to me are that Peter Parker is forgotten not only just by Ned, MJ, Happy, but he is also not remembered as Tony Stark's, you know,
Mm,
mentee,
yeah.
apprentice.
Yeah.
He is also not remembered by Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. He is
Right.
also not remembered by the other Avengers.
Right.
He is really on his own.
Yeah.
Now, we do know that there are many ways and many creative ways they can fix that. They
Right.
can, in terms of Marvel, can come back and there can be some way that maybe other people's memories are restored. So we know there's a way to fix that. But if you think about it, particularly with the end credit with Venom and how it matches the end credit on Let There Be Carnage, I just feel like our Peter Parker is now really Sony. He's not he's not the beloved MCU character that we fell in love with Captain America Civil War, with Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Homecoming, Far From Home.
Yeah.
It's so now I just feel
Yeah.
like he's completely erased from that experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and now his new identity is going to be connected to Venom. It's just he just feels further away from the MCU. I know he's not. I know
Right.
contractually, I think that they came up with some deal. But
Yeah, I think there's going to be 3 more
yeah, I know. I
with
don't know
Tom
how they're
Holland.
gonna I don't know how they're gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna try
Brilliance.
not to cry. I know that
Aww.
they're gonna figure out a way to restore somebody's memory.
Yeah.
But oh, and another thing, as an educator, Peter Parker was a very intelligent student. Why did they have him drop out of school?
The GED book. So, because basically everyone forgot about the existence of Peter Parker. It wasn't like just forgetting about him as Spider-Man. He was forgotten as Peter,
As a human being,
as a
like ever
human being.
existed, as
That's what I'm
ever
starting to think
existing.
now. Yeah, because they could have at least erased the connection to Spider-Man, but Doctor Strange basically erased his whole
Right.
existence. And so yeah, you're right. There's nothing. He's starting from scratch.
Think about it. He had to create a little funky little new suit. It's all shiny and not Stark tech. I did not like that. I like the
Yeah.
fancy suit Tony Stark made for him.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and
yeah.
I at least thought that maybe Doctor Strange, when he was recasting the spell right at the end, was going to do him a solid and let
Something.
just one
One
person
person.
just do him a solid. You know how he was
Yeah.
pulling out the little hair strand and
Yeah.
just he did.
Maybe there's a maybe Wong like is like the one person that will still remember him. Maybe somebody out there will remember him. Maybe at least the other Spider-Mans. But
But I want somebody from the MCU. I want Captain Marvel. Well, you know what? Well, that was in the universe. Captain Marvel, she is in the universe. So
Well,
I
I
just
think
don't want him
Marvel
to be
is like
forgotten.
I don't think he'll be forgotten, but I do think they set themselves up to wipe like the slate clean so that they can have three more with this one.
Okay, hold on, check this out.
Okay, all right.
Okay, okay,
What's
okay,
your
okay, okay,
theory? I feel a theory. I feel a fancy theory coming on.
okay, okay, okay. Oh, think about this. You remember when they arrested Peter,
Mhm.
right? And they say he said you can ask um oh Lord. What is I'm drawing a blank. Samuel Jackson's how can I Fury,
Oh,
Nick
yeah,
Fury.
yeah, Nick
He
Fury.
said you
Yeah.
can ask Nick Fury. You can ask
Yeah.
Fury. And it was like Fury has been off Earth
Yes, for a
for a year.
year.
And he was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm just curious on how this spell works.
Oh, what are its reaches? How
Its
far does it reach?
parameters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it
Mm.
because it reaches other timelines, but these are other earth-bound timelines.
I think, yeah.
Right. And so Nick Fury is off grid.
What are the bounds?
What
Yeah.
are the bounds? So it's a possibility that Nick Fury could possibly remember
Yeah.
Peter Parker. It's also a possibility that maybe even Captain Marvel. Who else we got from space who met
Oh, um, who else is out there? Did any the fantastic
Guardians of the Galaxy?
yeah, the
Remember Peter
Guardians of the
Peter
Galaxy.
Quill? Peter Quill met him.
Peter Quill, the
Um,
Guardians of the Galaxy met him. Yep.
so I'm just curious because again, time and space are different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that might be an option because
Where's
nobody in space is checking for Peter Parker.
no?
We're
Where's
talking about
Thor? Where is he right
Peter.
now?
Well, Thor would know. Would he know
Maybe.
Peter Parker? He would know from
Yeah.
the funeral.
Civil War.
But Thor was not in Civil War.
Thor was Thor
No,
was not in Civil
Thor
War.
and Banner were not in Civil War.
Let me
Remember?
think. Let me think. Let me think.
Because um Secretary Ross was like, do you even know where Thor and Banner are?
That's right.
Right.
So it was just Captain America.
It was everybody else.
It was everybody else but Thor and Banner. Okay.
Mhm.
What about in Infinity War?
Thor left.
That's right. They had to go. Nope, that was post snap. Infinity War. Did
No,
they interact?
Thor ended up in Wakanda.
Mm-hmm. That's
Right.
right. So Thor doesn't Thor. So
The
even
only
if he
way
could
Thor would have
remember,
met, the only way Thor would have met Spider-Man
it's too
is
much
at the
going on.
funeral.
It's
It
too
would have
much
met
going on. It's too much going on for him to pay attention to Peter Parker.
right. So the only two people who memory
That's
possibly
right.
could not have been impacted is Nick Fury and Captain Marvel. Because remember, Captain Marvel's like, "Hey, Peter Parker."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm excited to see how his storyline continues on.
Oh, and maybe even Wanda, because Wanda. Come on,
But if
she's
Doctor
like
Strange, if
she's the
Doctor Strange,
Scarlet, but she's the Scarlet Witch though. Can
but I
you
mean,
really?
Doctor Strange doesn't even have his own self remembering him, and Wanda is still on the planet.
But
She's
Wanda is the Scarlet Witch. She's actually more powerful than Doctor Strange, and she may have set up her own rooms to block out spells.
perhaps
So she might.
yeah, that's possible.
Those are
That's possible. We'll see. We'll see how they
we'll
all,
see.
you know,
I just
link
hope
back
that there
together.
is someone who can remember my beloved Peter Parker. My beloved Peter Parker. And so, okay. So I think that there are two as we start to wrap up. So two one thing I did like was the hand-to-hand combat. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, okay.
I really like how they upped Spider-Man's fighting game. His hand-to-hand combat towards the end, I think, was really, really dope. He was really, really skilled. You can tell that he's he is really, really growing
That's something
as a
interesting
superhero.
to notice. Yes.
Yes, girl. The way he was fighting, I was like, okay, you better go. I love that. No, seriously, I really, really love the hand-to-hand combat. Let's see. So a missed opportunity.
Okay.
Missed opportunities.
Missed
So
opportunity.
one thing before I go into my missed opportunity, another thing I didn't like about the movie, was it me or did you feel like there was just like a little bit more profanity than normal?
It did not even register with me.
And I mean, the
It
reason
did not
why
even register.
it registered me because there were some kids sitting next to me in
There
the
were
movie theater.
so many kids in my
So many
theater.
kids, and I feel like from like the Jamie Foxx character from Electro, I just felt like there was. I know there's a cap for a movie to be PG-13. How many
Right.
cuss words can be in it?
Yeah.
But I think that's just the educator in me, someone who is, constantly thinking about children.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just a little too
Yeah,
many.
I didn't even that never crossed my mind. Yeah.
And then because
I'll think about that now.
when the kid said to me, oh, he said a bad word. Yes.
I wonder what
Yes.
the word was. I wonder what the word was.
Girl, they said the S word. They said no, they were cussing.
Really?
They said the A word.
Look at my mind filtering all that out.
Yeah. So to all the parents watching, I would say, just as a heads up, of course, it's Spider-Man. It's not like it's just kind of sprinkled here and there. But for someone who is kind of sensitive to that, I felt like it was a little bit more than normal. Yeah. And the last thing I will say is I think this was a missed opportunity. You ready for this, sis? Hear me out. Okay, just hear me out. So since he's not going to MIT, right?
He's not. He's definitely not now. Right.
Not going to MIT.
Yeah.
I think that in honor of Aunt May, I think he should go to an HBCU. Because Aunt May
she went to Hillman. Listen, Aunt May did go to Hillman. If you know out there, you know. If you know, you know. Aunt May went to Hillman, and that's a whole different world. It's Spider-Man is someone who knows a different world, right?
Listen, you already, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only, he don't have to go to Hillman. It's some really, really great HBCUs out there who will love an engineer mind, a mathematic mind.
Oh my gosh, North Carolina A&T, like that's a great school for STEM. Boom. FAMU, great school for great engineering program. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And
that is a missed opportunity. He still has an opportunity to do that now that he's still got to take his GED test and figure out where he's going to go to college in honor of dear Aunt May. Yeah, who cares about the people? Yeah, Spider-Man needs to go ahead and jump into that different world.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And so he, don't sleep on the HBCUs.
Don't sleep.
Aunt May went to an HBCU.
Yes, she did.
And hold on, and in the season, shout out to what's the young man's name? Travis Hunter, who just committed. He was today. I think he was the number one prospect for Florida State, and he committed to Jackson State.
Oh, that's right. I saw. Shout out to Deion Sanders for changing up. How we look at the top 5 football schools and put HBCUs on the map to have strong football programs where the students can then matriculate and be considered as top tier
Right.
performers for the NFL. So
And
shout
not
out to
right, shout
talk
out.
about listen, talk
And not
about
hold
the
on, and not just Jackson State, shout out to the whole SWAC and Alabama State, and they got a new athletic director. Everybody's
yeah.
doing their thing, and I'm really, really so
Shout
so
out.
yes. So now is the time for
Yeah,
bright minds to reconsider their options. And
that's
so
right.
this would be a great
This is a
opportunity
perfect time.
for Spider-Man to enroll, you know,
That's right. I
to
mean,
see it's a
yeah,
different world.
it is a different world. And you're right, like this movie really did reflect current times, right?
Yeah.
In so many ways. There were certain themes that I saw that we see, in our society, a bit on the negative side, but just like the deep fake.
Talk about it.
How, how they were able to take media and make it seem like Peter was the villain. That's literally the premise for this movie. Cancel culture, which is such a
Right.
hot topic right now, but half the society is ready to cancel Spider-Man, not just Peter
Right.
Parker. They're ready to cancel Spider-Man, and MIT canceled Spider-Man and the people that associated with him. And then just the conspiracy theories, the Daily
Hold on,
Bugle,
without evidence.
without evidence,
Without evidence.
if Spider-Man not saved the life of that MIT administrator
Yeah.
that came to that like kickoff reception, he wouldn't have had a chance. And now that the memories have been erased, he still doesn't have a chance.
Right. Because the memories weren't erased for Ned and MJ. It was
Right.
just for Peter Parker. So
Right. Yep.
yeah.
And then just conspiracy theories with the Daily Bugle, the whole premise and sensationalization of that show is just all these conspiracy theories. Is Spider-Man going to destroy another historical monument, and that he's out here to harm and not do good?
What
And
are your
so
thoughts on Captain America's shield being on the Statue of Liberty?
that was interesting, but it came down, didn't it? It came at the end. It came down. I mean, how did that get there? Do you remember how that even?
Yeah. Okay. It was in
Take me back. Was it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, or was it in?
no. I can't. I would have to refresh.
Tell us
My
in the
memory.
comments. We know.
Tell us in the comments.
Tell us in
Yes,
the comments.
remind us.
Remind
what
us.
I will say is the reason why I'm not supportive of the shield being placed on the Statue of Liberty, because we have a new Captain America. And so technically speaking, the legacy of Captain America lives on.
Yes.
And I just feel that that's just a way of America memorializing a white man.
You associated it with
Steve Rogers.
You okay? That's one way to look
But
at
now,
it.
don't get me wrong, I love Steve Rogers.
It could be symbolic of just Captain America in general.
But you know how
we don't know because in terms of the order of these shows coming out, I mean, this Spider-Man is coming out after Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
So we do have a new Captain America, and I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We're gonna have to noodle on it. We're gonna have to see.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think, and tell us how you feel about the Captain America being on the Statue of Liberty.
All right, sis. Where we at now? So we're to the end.
So what now? Where are we going with this now? We had two. We had a mid-credit and a post-credit or end credit scene. We already talked about where we think the Spider-Man story could potentially go, or just where it may not go because of the memory loss. Mm-hmm. But tell me about the mid-credit scene with Villain. What happened there? I'm sorry, with
Venom.
With Venom.
So I appreciate Venom because of canon, and because he's a character in Marvel, and so I have an appreciation for that. I'm not a huge fan. It's a little too inconsistent. I love old-fashioned heroism, and so I'm not a huge fan of Venom. However, I do understand the implications. And so obviously there is a storyline, a comic book run with Peter Parker having the symbiote and becoming Venom, fighting Venom. And I'm sure Marvel is going to figure that out,
Yeah.
especially now with folk coming from outer space.
Yeah.
There are many other opportunities, but I'm quite certain that the symbiote that was left behind is going to find its way to our beloved Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Um, girl, I'm just so sad Peter Parker is alone. that that really saddens me.
It creates a great storyline going forward. We know he will figure it out. I mean,
I want him to be alone.
he's particularly this Peter Parker who had such a great community, right?
Right.
He was very well covered and supported. And so yeah, that it is a sad ending on that note. And then for the end credit, we actually got a whole trailer, didn't we? I mean, that wasn't even an end credit scene, a typical MCU end credit. We got basically the trailer for the next Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Multiverse Madness.
And his connection with Wanda. Wanda's in there. And he let her know that he was there to
get her help.
Yeah, he needs her help. And so the way that's connected to the Doctor Strange episode in What If, where we see the Doctor Strange villain along with the Doctor Strange hero, it's going to be interesting to see that battle play out.
Yeah. So we have a lot to talk about. Are we going to do more episodes of this?
Absolutely. I mean, Marvel is really working well with the conflict of villains. We saw that in this episode, as a lot of them, or all of them, got redemption so that they wouldn't lose their life. So what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next with Wanda? What are they going to do with Doctor Strange? So many characters that are coming back.
So many options.
It's like a multiverse universe of options.
Girl, yes.
So we'll have to come back
we haven't even, hold on, sis. And we hadn't even talked about Hawkeye. But we're going to come back.
We'll have to come back.
We're going to have to come back to that.
I mean, we can there's so much Marvel that came out this year. When you think of the disappointment of what we thought we weren't going to get and what we ended up with this year, we got a lot of good Marvel this year.
Yes, and you know what? It's not too late, but shout out to Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow.
Yeah.
Come on. That was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. We got that.
It's Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. We got
Shang-Chi.
Loki.
Dope. Loki. Dope.
We got WandaVision.
Dope.
We got Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Dope.
So and then we just got something that wasn't so dope, and so maybe we shouldn't even. Maybe it's like unmentionable. Yeah, because we
are not going to say the name. I was just so disappointed. I'm not going to say anything.
And full disclosure, I didn't watch it, folks. If you know which Marvel release we're talking about, just drop it in the comments. Right now, it's going to just be the show, that the movie that has no name.
No name, and it's like a spell was cast. So we're
not even gonna remember that one right now. So I do look forward to seeing Nick Fury come back from wherever he is and how he intersects. So yes, sis, let's come back and do this again.
Come back to do what? And one more thing, in addition to Nick Fury, we have the Skrulls who know Peter Parker.
The Skrulls know Peter Parker. Yep.
So, and it's possible, maybe the Skrulls have some manipulation block. You just never know.
That would be great. Listen, because like you said, Peter can't be alone. We need him to get his people back.
We can't.
Yeah.
All right, girl.
So, hey, everyone, thank you so much for watching, for joining us. Would love to hear what your thoughts about Spider-Man No Way Home, anything that we've covered, anything that we didn't cover. If you want to talk more about how you felt about the villains and their redemption, Aunt May and her breakup with Happy.
Oh, girl, I was not feeling that. You gonna play Happy like that? Happy is a smart man.
Amazing.
Happy is a
Amazing.
good man.
Amazing.
And when they needed somebody Happy pulled through. Do you hear me?
If you want to talk about just the effects and the visuals that we saw with Doctor Strange creating this mirror type world, it was making me think of the movie Inception. Like where does all that, what was all that about? So there's a lot we didn't cover, so many just nuggets in this movie, but overall positive. We both feel really positive about it.
Definitely go check it out. It's a really good movie. It's a really
great
good movie. And
yeah, I look forward to watching it again.
Yeah, and real talk. I will give it 10. I will give it 10. But it was just, it's now. I don't want my baby alone out in this world. It's a cold world out here. You know what I mean?
So when we come back, we're gonna have to, maybe we'll rank this year's Marvel releases and see where we put them. Let's do that when we come back.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do.
Thanks again, everyone, for watching, watching and tuning into the first episode of Marvel Diaries. We look forward to engaging with you again in the near future.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.